lot of people want to know how I fertilize my garden. The one thing I will say before I say anything else, everyone's garden is different. And technically, you must find what works for you. If you are new to the channel, I'm Pam. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Take a second and subscribe to the channel. Let's get to 100,000 subscribers together. I fertilize my garden definitely after it rains. Because I have a container garden, I fertilize my garden a little bit more often. And I'm going to tell you a quick story. When I first started gardening, I had no idea when I needed to fertilize, how I needed to fertilize, or what I needed to do. Everybody said use 511. 511. Fish emulsion. Fish fertilizer, okay? This is the brand that I use. I'll link this in the product links that come up on the screen. Fish emulsion is amazing. This is pretty much all I use in my garden. I will use some specific citrus fertilizer for my citrus trees, but I still use 511, okay? I use this no matter what. Now, quick backstory. There was a gentleman, and a lot of you all will know who exactly I'm talking about. There was a gentleman that had a YouTube channel, and he really does still have a YouTube channel, but it is no longer called what it used to be called. And I can't think of what it's called. His name is Quintarius. And Quintarius, if you are listening, thank you very much. We called him Farmer Q. Farmer Q. You know who I'm talking about, okay? Amazing young man. Brilliant young man. He seemed to have a lot of scientific knowledge and information. And he was doing a live one time, and he talked about fertilizing his garden. And he said every single time now he grew, I believe, mostly in ground. I'm not sure about that, but I think he grew mostly in ground. But he said something, and I don't have it exact. But this is just what I remember, and I'll tell you what I started doing from that point forward. He said something in his video about every time he watered, he fertilized. And I'm like, wow, that could be a lot. But he had this scientific calculation, and he says it's like a minute amount of fertilizer that he gives his plants. But every time he watered, he fertilized. So I thought, oh, what the heck? Let me give it a try. So it was a mathematical equation that he did. Couldn't tell you the mathematical equation if I tried. Couldn't do the mathematical equation if I tried, because math is not my thing. I swear 2 + 2 is 5. Don't argue with me in the comments. It's 5, okay? However, I said, okay, I'm going to fertilize every time I water my garden, all right? Now, as a container garden, I do not water my garden as much as I hear most people say they're watering. I'll tell you about that as well. So every time I water my garden, which I still do to this day, I fertilize. Now, about once a week, I will give it a good amount of fertilizer if I don't get to water it constantly with fertilizer. So what I did was, I couldn't figure out the mathematical equation. So he said, okay, he said compared to what it should be, he said it's really just like a fraction of it. So what I did was, this is the watering can that I use for watering, okay? For fertilizing, not watering, for fertilizing. This is a 2-gallon bucket. So what I did was, I said, okay, I need to give it a little fertilizer. So I would always water my garden first, water first. Then I would put about 2 tablespoons, so 1 tablespoon per gallon of fertilizer in this. Now, that's about what you're normally supposed to put in your thing. I think it's really 2 tablespoons per gallon, but I was putting 1 tablespoon per gallon. And I don't know how many containers, but over 50 plants. And I would just go around every time I water and just a little bit on each one. This 1 2-gallon bucket would do half of my garden. So that's how little I was putting on it. But baby, let me tell you, my garden flourishes every time I do it. Is it right? Is it wrong? Is it scientifically correct? Is it, seasoned gardener correct. Oh, that's too much. It works for me. Okay. So I told you that little story to say you got to find what works for you. But I have not watered my garden in like 2 weeks because it's been raining. So I haven't had the need to. And since it was raining, I was not going to come out and fertilize, because when you're in a container garden now, most anything you read and research will tell you water, fertilize, water in that order. You want to water first to moisten the soil. You want to then put in your fertilizer. Then you want to go back and water again so that the fertilizer can seep in. I don't do that. I've never done that, because what I found is in the container garden, what you put in goes out much quicker. It's not like the ground where it's just going to seep down in and settle. So I water first so my soil is moist. Then I go in and fertilize, okay? Then I'm done. I do not go back and water again. If I am fertilizing my garden, something's flying around and got in my eye. I'm sorry. If I am fertilizing my garden and I'm not doing it just because I'm watering, but I'm doing it because I haven't done it in a while, because like this time it rained and that's what I'm getting ready to do. This bucket goes for about 4 of my red pots. And you'll see me fertilizing. So I use about a half a gallon per pot. That's just what I do. I'm still putting about 2 tablespoons in the 2 gallons. I'm still putting about 1, but I'm using more of it. All right. That's how I fertilize. This 511, my whole garden. That's pretty much what I use. I have found it to be the best. So I am going to go ahead and fertilize my garden. So always give your fertilizer a good shake, no matter what. Shake it first. This is pretty much an empty one. This is a full one. So I know I'm going to need it. Just shake them both real good. Okay. I do not measure. I don't get a tablespoon and measure. I'm just pouring this in here. Okay. And whatever's in here is in here. I may get more in one and less in the other. And it's not much in here. Now, since it's not much in here, that was probably about 1.5 tablespoons. I'm not wasting anything. Okay. That being said, I'm going to take my hose and I'm putting water in here, and I'm going to shake it until this water is just almost clear, because I'm not wasting any of my fertilizer. It's too expensive and I'm just not doing it. So y'all see me, I'm getting ready to put the water in here, but this is to get it out of this bottle. And you don't need a lot in there when you're rinsing it. And I'll rinse it 2 or 3 times. I'm going to put this in here. Then I'm going to fill this up and go ahead and water. And I'll rinse this bottle again for my next batch. But as you can see, look how dark this is coming out of here. You don't want to leave that in. You do not want to leave that in your container. All right. That's precious stuff. Now I just go ahead and fill this up. A lot of people will fill it up with water first and then pour your fertilizer in and stir it. I like to put my fertilizer in first and then fill my bucket up with water. It stirs it for me, and I feel it gives it a better mix. That's just me, but do it however works best for you. So what you just saw me do as far as mixing the 511 and watering that section, the large brown pot is 33 gallons. And then I actually put some in my lemon pot. All right. I put 511 in everything. All right. It's just amazing. All right. That is my go-to. Now I watch my plants. And if I see that something has a nutrient deficient, that's when I put my banana water on it, or that's when I put my potato skin water on it, depending on what I can determine that it may be deficient in or needing in order to change the trajectory of how it's growing. So, but otherwise, on a regular basis, it's 511. Now, I don't put that much on a regular basis. On a regular basis, like I said, this bucket would have gone for all of this whole section. Then I would have did another one for that whole section. And that's it. All right. So, oh my goodness. That's how I fertilize my garden. Again, everybody needs to figure out what's going to work for them, how they are going to do their garden. And it's all pretty much trial and error. If you're a seasoned gardener, then you've had your trials and error. That's how we learn, all right? So don't be afraid to try and see what works best, okay? A lot of things in the garden are easily correctable, because if you see, oh, I fertilized it, but it's not doing anything, switch it up and say, okay, well, next time I'm going to fertilize it with something else, and do your research. Always, always, always do your research, okay? Oh my goodness. If you are new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today here in my garden. Take a second and subscribe to the channel. Let's get to 100,000 subscribers together. Oh, returning subscribers, thank you for keep coming out and hanging out with me. I love being outside. And channel members, the Scaredy Cat crew, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I'm Pam, this is Zone 8A, and anywhere you can sit a pot, you can grow a plant.